Hi guys, welcome back to shop. Today I'm going to get back on the AT-2 MX build that we're doing, and I've got a few more odd jobs that we've got to get done before we can do a fire up. I've got to get a cable or a wiring harness made for the going up to the handlebars, to the kill switch, and to the coil, and to the CDI box. And there's already one done down to the CDI unit, but I had to change the plug on that, and I'm going to a 4-wire plug on that part of it, and then I'll have two bullet type connectors going to the coil and to the kill switch. But I had to add a little piece of wire in, extend some on the CDI unit itself. I've already done that, and I'm just getting ready to put the connector on. We also need, I put the clutch cable on, and I still probably am going to have to make a throttle cable. We'll see what I can find there. I'm not sure I've got everything that I need, but let me get you overhead and we'll get started. Okay guys, I had to extend the wiring just a little bit to get all this to work the way I wanted it to. So I just used some solder-in butt connectors in the middle here and wrapped them with shrink wrap. I've gone, like I said, to a 4-wire type connector for these. I believe these are the ones I'm going to need to go to the box. And then I've got a kill wire and a coil wire. So those I'll just be putting bullets back on. They were pretty crusty, so I just wanted to replace them. But these I want to make it more convenient, and I'm using this type of connector. I've already put that on the mag wiring coming out of the mag cover. So let's get started on this. And these are, you've done wiring, you've done everything I'm doing here, but we'll just go over it again. Seems like I'm getting a lot of comments about people liking the on the fly, decide what we're going to do, and experimental type stuff. So we'll just keep doing it. My hope is that people enjoy and can get some value out of these videos. It's not all about me here. It's about everybody. We're kind of a team, and if people like what they're seeing, then we'll try to put it out that way. The TC-125, the green one, went home to Dallas today. The owner seemed to be quite happy. So maybe I'll include a little bit of the video on that on the load up, and but we'll just continue on with this. Okay, we've got our connector terminals here on these. If you've got the right terminals and the right installation equipment, you can do a really professional job with this. If you're going to do a bunch of wiring or repair wiring on these old bikes, I would suggest getting a wiring kit and a terminal crimper so that you can do these jobs, and you'll end up doing them just like it was done at the factory. And it just does such a professional job and a good job. And all you got to do is just kind of learn how to use everything and do it. Okay, got all the terminals on, and as you've seen me do before, I made a little map of my wiring. Now this is looking at the end of the other piece of this connector, so I would be putting it on like this. So I want to put my red one up here in the top and kind of straighten it out. Sometimes they kind of kink or bend a little bit when you crimp them. And there's the first one in. And then we have the black one on the other side. Yep, just make sure that little tab is in the right place. They just push in, snap in. And then we've got the white with the red right below the red. And that one kind of deformed a little too. Straighten it out. Now, that one I'm going to have to push in with a little screwdriver, looks like. Okay. Sometimes you just have to get something to push them in. And then our brown one. And I know I've talked about the supplier that I get these from before, but if anybody missed it or new to the channel, I get them from Vintage Connections. And this particular kit for the little connector terminals like this, this is a 6-1, we're putting a 4 in. They've got singles and 2s and 3s and all the way up to 9, I think. You get everything that you need there. I'm not sure what the price is anymore. I haven't bought one for a long time. And that was the CK5N. And then this is the same thing. This is the CK2, and this has got your bullet connectors, you know, this type deal here, and your ring connectors in it. These are both very handy to have, and I'm not affiliated with these people at all, but they make some good stuff, and I use it a lot. So let's get the bullets on here now. You've got, let's see, we've got our, well, I just about didn't leave myself enough room there. I'm going to have to trim that up a little bit. I might get it on. We'll see. Okay, I think I'm going to make it just barely. Get everything situated here first. This one I'm going to have to kind of hold it back while I crimp it. Okay. Once you get it crimped on, then you just slide this up and it snaps in. So just like it was from the factory. This one I think may be a little harder to get to, but no, it's about the same, I think. And just get it pushed back. Well, I've got to get my crimper ready here with the terminal in it. Sometimes things are we have a little adversity to our day. Well, looks like I got a little here too, because I've got part of my cover in there. I don't know, I'm gonna have to find a way to hold this back. Okay, I had to kind of get me a pair of vice grips here and hold this cover back so I could get to the wire. Now we got her. Okay, good. That one was almost too short to get. Just think about it sometimes and you can figure it out. Okay, so there's our extended wires and our connectors. I'm going to take a few of these zip ties and just kind of tidy up the wiring a little bit there. I do much enjoy these old dirt bikes that you kind of want how you want to build them your way. More than the restorations, actually, because it's you don't have to be precise about what items you use, whether or not you're using NOS parts or whatever. You can make a lot of your parts, and I'm not against that anyway, if you have to, but some of the purists out there would rather have all the NOS parts or whatever, and that's okay. But it's just more fun when you're not saddled down to that. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's go over and put it on. Okay, I also had to extend the kill switch wire. They gave you like a foot, so it's not really what you need. Got to put a little sleeving on here, and what I did was I traced the orange and the black with a white tracer. The black with the white tracer comes down here, and I used my ohm meter on the plate down here into that wire, and I got continuity, so I know that that's my kill circuit. So that is going up to the CDI box, and I've got the 4 wires here that go to the exciter coil, and both coils down here plus a ground. That the ground also feeds the CDI box. So we've got just the orange wire coming from the new bullet connector I put on the CDI box to the coil, and we've got the black with a white tracer that goes to here for the kill switch. And then we've got the green wire from the kill switch to just a bolt. I'm going to put it right here. I've got to put a ring on it. So I think the first thing I'll do before I forget about it is get the sheathing up here to that. I've got one bullet connector on here already, and I probably shouldn't have done it yet. Let me get a length here. That's going to be above it, and we're going to come to there. So about right there ought to do it. What to do with my pliers now? I get over here and I lose everything. There they are. Yeah, I've got one bullet connector here, so I'll get that over that first. Hopefully I can, once you get the bullet out of that sheathing, then the other wire should slip through. It's going fairly well, better than expected actually. We're not there yet. Alright, finally got it down there and pulled through. And now we'll just run this one back through it. Okay, got both ends out here. That's going to go back to our CDI box. And I'll just zip tie this one and to both of these, and that way it'll should stay put. And we need to get the ring on this one. Oops, I think I got a hold of that way too. Yep, I did. I got off a little bit and cut a bunch of it off. There we go. Good enough. We got enough left there. And got a ring. There's that. So now we can put this one. It just needs to be on a, you know, it goes to ground. This is just a convenient place to put it, but it doesn't have to go to the coil. You know, we've already bared up our frame and everything where that goes with this bracket, so this is just a good spot to put it. And I have lost the tool again. And then I'll just put another zip tie here on the other side of this, just to secure that sheathing to the other wire. I can run that either way. That's probably the best. And we've got our bullet connectors here. Oops, I got one more to put on. Let me do that. And these, you've you've got the little end that goes back toward the wire and the big end toward the terminal. Slide that on. And of course it falls off. And just slide that up over the base of the terminal, just like that. So there's our wiring harness, and we'll connect it up here. Black with a white to black with a white. Make sure we get our waterproofing right there. And our orange and orange. And snap them in place. Okay, we'll do a little zip tying in there just to get everything the way it should be. And what we want to do now is see if we've got spark. So let me get ready for that. Okay, I'm going to hold that up there where you can see it. And here is the arrow going this way, so that's the way we're going to turn the mag. And I've got my little drill on here, so we'll see what it does. Looks good. Hope you saw it. Oops. I was trying to turn that without the impact hitting, and it did, and pulled my nut off. So let's try it again. Looks good to me. So we've got fire, but do we have it at the right time? That's the next question. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my dial indicator in, and we're going to set the timing. And this one makes it real easy because we've got the straight in hole on the head. I have to move that a little bit so you can see it. And first thing I want to do is run this up so that I'm not exceeding. See there, I'm exceeding my travel. So I need to move this up a little bit. Still am. I'm going to have to loosen the other side a little bit more. I got 2 set screws. Probably way overkill. Okay, I'm still exceeding it, so I'm going to tighten it up, and actually I'm not going to tighten it up, I'm going to change the foot to a shorter foot. This is what I'm talking about right here. So I'll take that off and see how long that one is. I'll put a shorter one in. All right, let's take a look at this now. Again, I've put a marker up here showing the rotation, the proper rotation of the engine. It's going this way. You can also find that information on the rotor down here. You probably can't see it, it's pretty hard to read, but it's right there and it shows the arrow. doing the same thing. Okay, I've got the dial indicator up here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this in the direction of travel, or the direction of operation, until I get to top dead center. Right there. Got it zeroed out. Let me get you up a little closer. I think. No. There you go. I think you can probably see it better now. Okay, so we've got it set at top dead center. Now we're going to go this way. That's how we're going to turn the rotor until we're at 2 millimeters. There's 1, and there's 2 before top dead center. Now we're going to go down here to the internal rotor, and let's see. What they want is you need to have this line and this bump lined up, and we just loosen up the backing plate and turn it until those 2 marks line up. Now, who knows whether this is going to pan out, because you know, this is off of one engine, this is a different engine. So we're just going to we're playing this by ear. This is a starting point for us. It ought to start the engine. It ought to at least do that. But you know, with the modifications and whatnot that we've made, then you know it can use some adjustment. Now, one thing to note, this type of ignition, the only one that I've got like this is my 360 flat tracker. It's got a 72 engine on it, and in that one, this sets pretty much level. The exciter coil sets pretty much level. So this one, right away, you can kind of tell probably. You know, I haven't seen this on the YZ it came off of, so I don't know how it was oriented. But I'm assuming that this is tilted up a little bit more because of the engine that we're using it on. But I may be wrong. But anyhow, we should be good as far as our timing to at least get it started here, if all my thought processes have been correct. You know, it could be that this thing with this engine should be over here or something. I don't know. You know, this is something we're going to find out. It's all experiment, so you're going along for the ride with me, and you know, we won't know until we stop. So anyhow, we should be set to where it'll start right there. All right, we'll get this tightened up and get the lock washer bent over. Okay, and I think I'm ready to put this cover back on. Got my clutch rod in there, and I've got the clutch cable installed. So we should be able to put this on. See what we got here. See if I can get these screws in the right place first time. get the case tightened up. Got to get a lever up here on the clutch. So let me get that all rigged up. Yeah, I just need to get this down so I can get the lever on. We'll just back the adjustment off at the bottom down here. And I've already got this in, and this is all the way back. So we'll just stick the cable in there and rotate it back, just like that. And we'll get our shoulder bolt in. Get it just a little snug. Not enough that's going to keep it from turning. And put our nut on. And it's just kind of a jam type affair there. Okay, my rule of thumb has always been about 1/8 of an inch right there. So just keeping that in mind, let me go ahead and raise it back up. And we'll just screw the stud in until we've got about that 1/8 inch up there, and then tighten the jam nut up. Just like that. And that's got a good feel to it. You saw that or not. Like I said, just turn this in until you've got your 1/8 of an inch clearance at the lever, and then tighten your jam nut. That's your clutch adjustment. And we can go ahead and get our, yeah, probably be better if we put the cover on first. Hopefully we won't have to get back in there. But if we do, easy enough done. 3 screws. And as always, guys, make sure you're using your JIS screwdrivers. Keep you from rounding out your screw heads. And there we go. Now we can get our shift lever on. Looks about right. Oops, I gotta get that bolt out of there. Okay, this side's put back together. And let me get this down a little bit more, and I just want to show you what we hooked up in here. Let me get you off the stand. Maybe kind of a bird's eye view of that. So we've got our two bullet connectors there coming from the kill switch and the coil. And again, this is setting up here. It's rubber insulated, so the vibration and shock shouldn't be a problem there. I took a zip tie and just pulled over this cabling so that it couldn't get up against the muffler. So that everything should be a clean install there. Went ahead and put some zip ties along here. Everything's down below where the tank goes in, and it's a loose fit coming around the steering column, and then it's zip tied all the way up. And there's our kill switch. I did check it with the rotating the rotor down here with the button depressed, and no fire, so we should be in good shape there. I've got to see if I can find a throttle cable, so that's my next mission. Okay, come up with a couple of pretty good used cables. This is a good front brake one. Put a little oil in it. It's working pretty good. And I have a throttle cable with everything. It's got the injector and everything. I'll go ahead and pull the injector cable out, and everything else looks okay. It's not frayed or anything that I can tell. Oops, wait a minute. Down here on this end it is. Missing part of it. But I just happen to have a used lower also. So where I'm going with this is, with the carburetor that I've got in there, I want to put the old cable on if I can, and see if I get full wide open on my slide. If I don't, then I'm going to have to build a cable, at least the lower one, to accommodate the extra throw of that slide. So that's what I need to find out first. So let me kind of lubricate and repair and clean up this cable, and we will put it on and see what happens. I guess I can go ahead and put the brake cable on. Let me do that. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm sure most of you have put them on before. See, that end looks like that's probably the down, because that would have the guide there. So that's the up. It's there. Well, it's not going to stay there yet anyway. And these have just got a slot here that in both the nut and the fixture. So you get that in position. Like that. And they usually have a little boot down here, but the boot has since rotted away, I'm sure. So I'll run this out far enough where I can get this hooked like that. And we'll leave that until I get the lever hooked up on the other side. And it doesn't want to stay. You know, I think this actually goes the other way. This should be, it can go on either way. I think it would be better to go the other way. Looks like that's how it was too. This is a longer guard on this end, and you can see the chafing right there. So that probably, no, it wouldn't either. That's chafing is from the up portion here where it slides through the triple tree. I think I had it right to start with. Easy enough. Okay, let's get around the other side. And the same over here, just fish it through there. Turn it back to where it's got the most slack. Hook your lever in and get your bolt started. I'm just using some bolts that I cleaned up and replated. New levers, of course, but the old hardware's okay. Now let's snug that up. Everything's still free. Okay. I got to go back and set it up over on the hub. Okay, this in there. Pull it out and line it up in that. And then this just stops up against the top. Nope. I'm not going to be able to do that, am I? I'm going to have to do this with this on here. Not long enough. Boy, again, we may be needing the 250 one. Looks like it might be. We can still get it on in the interim, maybe. Right now I'm just interested in whether or not we're going to get full throttle or not. Now some of these cables, the bikes came with this hold down. It's split. This is a new one. You just rock it down, run your cable through it, and then squeeze it back up with a pair of pliers. Not all bikes came with them. I like them. I pick them up every chance I get. I've got to kind of squeeze that one to fit, but right now I'm just going to leave it off, and we'll be able to see what we need to see anyhow. And if I need to do it later, then I will. I'm still going to use it. I just while we're messing around with this, because it looks like I'm going to have to get one for a 250 or make one. That's probably what I'll do. Okay, that's on. Let's see what we got. I think we got it. I can't tell for sure without looking in there, but I can hear it hitting the top and back down to the bottom. So I think we're good. But I'm going to have to do something there. Okay, I've got down here at the carburetor, and there's a little bit of slack there, so we've got plenty to go. So I'm going to I'm going to adjust the nut up a little bit. And I got the right thing, I think so. Part of the right thing. Anyway. There we go. Yep. And I pulled it out again. It's pulling it all the way up the slide, all the way to the bottom of the cap. So we should be good. There we go. And if I position the throttle cable above the where the rubbers go in there, it's really not supposed to be there. I think it's supposed to go down here, but it's a little short there, so I may have to make a cable or get the one for the 250. So we've got plenty of time to decide what we're going to do there, but right now we'll just run it up here, and then we've got plenty of room here. Okay, we're getting closer. Got all our wiring in, we've got our cables on. Some of them are going to have to be reworked a little bit. We're getting real close here, guys. Our handy little holder up there, and our intake. Get the carburetor off the bottom down there. Okay guys, there you have it. We're a little bit closer. We've got all our cables on that we need to have on there for it to operate. I just need to go ahead and tighten up the engine bolts, put some oil in the transmission, give it just another look real quick, and probably next time we're going to try to fire it up. So we'll see how that goes. And as you saw, I had a little short clip there of the Suzuki TC 125 1973 model, all loaded up on the owner's pickup, and it's heading back to Dallas. So I wish him well, and it was a joy working with him, and it was it really helped my channel. That one bike got me just about all the subscribers I needed to be able to keep going here on YouTube. So I thank him, and thank you for going along on the ride. See you next video.